Hello everyone, my name is Quad and welcome to a farming guide of Warframe. In this video we will go over Lootframes, Warframes that will give you more loot if you mod them to do so. If you're a starter, this might at first be a little bit confusing, so don't worry, you will get these Warframes when it is the right time for you. But anyways, today we will look at Lootframes. There are 6 Lootframes in total: Nekros, Khora, Hydroid, Atlas, Ivara, and Limbo. Some other Warframes also have features which might be considered looting abilities like Wukong's passive, but I will not discuss those in this video. I will only tell you about the most reliable ones. Before I continue, I do want to let you know that most of the Warframes I will talk about today do require you to be a member of some of specific syndicates in Warframe, so yeah, I recommend going for Red Veil since most Lootframe augments are in their syndicate, but you can choose any other one as well. Some augments do also appear if you choose the specific Warframe in the circuits, so yeah, that is a bit more gambly of an option as well. Don't worry though, I will tell you which syndicates you can get the augment mods from, so yeah. Let's start now with the classic Lootframe, Nekros. Nekros is a Warframe that has an ability called Desecrate. This ability will loot the bodies on the ground after you have killed them, and you will get additional resources, credits, and endo from them. The ability itself is not very useful right away since it uses energy to work, but what you can do to improve this ability significantly is get the Despoil augment. You can get it from either the Red Veil or the Parent Sequence syndicates for 25,000 standing. The Despoil augment allows your Warframe to use up health instead of energy, which is far better. The bodies also drop health orbs, which makes this ability insanely potent and sustainable. When I farm resources, I always use Nekros with the Despoil augment, because it is so good. The only thing you need to check from time to time is your health, but that is it. The ability does have a bit of a range, so you do have to be near people, but you can mod your Nekros so you have a lot of range and you will get a lot of resources even in squad missions. Later in the game, you will also get Amalgam Ripka's True Steel, which has a 100% gore chance. This means there will be more body parts from which you can loot. If you don't have this mod yet, you can use any weapon that primarily deals slash damage, because more slash damage means more body parts. So yeah, slash damage is great. But anyways, let's go to the next Warframe. Khora's 4th ability, Strangledome, does nothing special by itself, but it entangles enemies. However, you can buy the Pilfering Strangledome augment from either the Red Veil or the Steel Meridian syndicates to increase the drop chance of resources from enemies that get entangled into the Strangledome. You will, however, need to waste 25,000 standing for it, which is actually not a lot. The ability is easy to use. I recommend you use it at choke points and slap the enemies all day long because it is very nice. I myself don't really like to play Khora a lot because the gameplay with Khora is quite stationary. When you have the Strangledome, you constantly have to be around it. But if you're playing in a squad, be inside or around that Strangledome. It is insanely good for all the amounts of resources you will get. The next Lootframe is Hydroid. Hydroid's 4th ability, Tentacle Swarm, does nothing special by itself, but if you get the Pilfering Swarm augment from the Cephalon Suda or the New Loka Syndicate for 25,000 standing, you can get more resources simply by spawning the tentacles and shooting the enemies that are being held by the tentacles. The enemies that get killed while the tentacles hold them have an increased chance of drops, which is absolutely amazing, and you don't even have to do anything. This just shows you that tentacles are good for many things. Another Warframe you can get and use for farming more resources is Atlas. Atlas's Petrify ability only turns enemies into stone. But if you buy the Gaze augment from either the Red Veil or the Steel Meridian for 25,000 standing, you will also scan the enemies and make them drop more loot. I don't really see Atlas being used much for farming these days, but you know, the ability is fun to use. But anyways, a little bit of experimentation is fun. Which is, I think, why people play games these days. But anyways, let's go to the last loot frame, which is Ivara. Ivara's Prowl ability renders her invisible. Besides being invisible, she will also steal additional resources from enemies that are right beside her, which is quite nice, however, hard to use, especially if you play in a squad. People usually kill the enemies before you can loot them like this, so yeah, it is not the best, you know, but it is one of the possible loot frame choices you can use. We will go over the last loot frame I mentioned, Limbo, in the next video of the series, so be sure to tune in by subscribing to the channel. For now though, let me also tell you what happens if you play in a squad full of loot frames. If you truly want to maximize the number of resources you get, be sure to play in a squad with one Nekros, one Ivara, one Atlas, and one of either Khora or Hydroid. But why, you might ask? Well, Nekros gets you loot from corpses, Ivara from alive enemies, Atlas from petrified enemies, and well, Khora and Hydroid both by killing enemies. Because of this, you need to choose between the two, either Khora or Hydroid. People usually choose Khora, but I have also seen people playing with Hydroid this way, so yeah, the choice comes down to you. And that is it. Thank you for coming by. We will look at solo farming in the next video and also Limbo, so be sure to come by and tune in if you are just starting out the getting resources part of Warframe. I will try to explain everything. With this, I thank you for watching. I wish you a lot of loot, booty, and also a very nice day. Bye guys!